The SV650. The legend never dies. What's up everyone, it's Alex. I'm going to shine a little spotlight today on one of the absolute best series of motorcycles ever made, period, of all time, okay? And that is the SV650. These things are straight up motorcycle legends, okay? They've been making them since the 90s. They've gone through 7 different generations. Along the way, they went to fuel injection from carbureted. They've done some with and without plastics, SV650, SV650S. For a couple of years, they rebranded and renamed it the Gladius, the Suzuki Gladius, with a little bit different styling on it. Really, for all intents and purposes, it's been the same series of bikes the whole time. A little bit different names here and there, carbureted versus fuel injection, some little differences, but same basic idea the entire time with just improvements along the way, okay? From the late 90s to 2018, same concept, and that is the Suzuki SV650 series, whether you find one used or buy one new or whatever you decide to do, the SV650 series is one of the best, well-rounded, do-it-all motorcycles you will ever get your hands on, period. Some people like them, some people not such a big fan of them for different reasons, but they have developed one of the biggest cult followings in motorcycling history. You know, obviously outside of anything that says Harley Davidson on it. There's a lot of reasons for that. I'll give you a couple of downsides to the bike as well, but it's mostly positive, okay? So in a Suzuki SV650, what do you get? Whether you're looking at a used one, a new one, whatever, just basics, what do you get? So what you are getting is a 650cc or just under 650cc V-twin sports standard naked motorcycle. The bike's got plenty of power for most people in the real world, and actually I've known a lot of people that take them and do track bikes out of them because you can really ride the hell out of them on a track. You've got something with a comfortable seating position that handles really well, that, like I said, has plenty of power for most real-world situations. Because of the motor and the way it's set up, it gets good gas mileage. They are reliable as all hell. I've got a guy that I work with that has 2 of them. One's got 35,000 miles, the other one has like 76,000 miles on it. And you get something that's simple. It's not hard to understand. It's not hard to work on if you're a little bit mechanically inclined. It literally, you can just ride the hell out of it, and if you maintain it, it will basically last forever. And they've been making them for so long, parts are readily available. You will never have an issue working on it or getting parts to work on it. You'll never have an issue finding someone to work on the thing, if you even have to work on it, because it's one of the most bulletproof bikes I've ever seen in my life. And that's basically it. If you find one used, you can usually find one, you know, from like 98, 99, whatever, up through the early 2000s for a couple $1,000s or less. You know, brand new ones like $7,000 will get you a brand spanking new one with a warranty and fuel injection and everything. Oh, and on the new ones, I want to show you something really cool I figured out on the new one. So we got this thing going, right? Check this out. All right, no hands on the gas, right? Clutch in, bike's in gear. Watch this. So if you didn't catch that, turn the bike back off. If you didn't catch that, the thing is set up to where it's really hard to stall it, which is really good for beginners. I just put the bike in gear and just let the clutch out, and it kicked the RPMs up just a little bit to get the bike going without me even having to touch the gas to keep it from stalling. I've tested this several times this morning. It works every time. So Suzuki's done something to these that automatically kicks the RPMs up just a little bit when you let the clutch out in first gear to kind of get you going, to make it a lot easier to transition for new riders. So not only is this a really good bike for like an intermediate to experienced rider for like a second bike or just a really good thrash it, do everything motorcycle, but this is an awesome motorcycle for beginners that just want something a little bit bigger than like a 250 or a 300. If you think you can handle just a little bit more, but you don't want something crazy, these are freaking incredible for it. It's starting to rain, so I'm going to cover downsides real quick. Downsides to an SV650, okay? Straight out of the box, not a ton of horsepower. If you want the fastest bike out there and you just want that thrill adrenaline rush, they are decently torquey, so they take off pretty good, but they definitely run out of top-end horsepower. They're not going to give you the kind of top-end horsepower that an inline 4, 600, 750, 1000, or anything crazy like that is going to give, okay? So not the most horsepower out there. Second slight down note for some people is the stock suspension is set up to be comfortable in real world situations. So it's not super stiff. It is a little bit squishy. So if you're going to do really aggressive sport riding, you will need to stiffen the suspension or change the suspension out. But those are really the only two big downsides I can find that some people just don't like about SV650s. I love them. To me, as awesome as that bike is, it's got plenty of power and the suspension is plenty good for riding in the real world. If I was going to do it on the track, I would change the suspension out. Otherwise, not the most horsepower. So if you're an adrenaline junkie, you're probably going to want something more horsepower. And the suspension is a little squishy for true, like really aggressive sport riding. You will need to change the suspension around a little bit, but if you're that kind of rider, you know you're going to want to do your own suspension anyway. Otherwise, nothing but good stuff to say about it. SV650s are amazing, whether it's an old used one or a brand spanking new one. If you want an awesome middleweight bike that'll do everything and handles good and will keep you happy for a long time, SV650 is an awesome choice, all right? The legend never dies. Peace.